Greetings and welcome back to Switch to Linux. Well, I had to flip-flop over what I was going to do today. I really wanted to push out a tinfoil hat time for today, but I just did not have enough time to get it well enough researched that I felt comfortable pushing it out. So, I think what I'm going to do is this one here, kind of like a last minute, just brief informational. I'm going to see how it works putting the tinfoil hat time on my Saturday afternoon stream. As long as I can get everything prepped and finalized by the end of the day tomorrow before the news, then that should work without still interfering with my day. So, hopefully I will do a tinfoil hat time on Saturday. I wanted to do that today, right now stream, but I did not get a chance to, get out there and, get all the research done that I wanted to. But we are going to be talking about, on the next tinfoil hat time, how our clothes are tracking us. I forget who sent me this article, but it was that. So let's go ahead and jump on over into comments before we start on talking about what makes a good Linux distro. KO2610, hello and greetings. Fedora, one can hear you, hello. I tried to say that sentence 4 or 5 times. I can't get it. Hi, greetings. Q1 Fiend, how's it going there? The kitty has been released. And yes, Q1 Fiend, I did send that computer out to you. I will email you a tracking number, hopefully tonight. I went ahead and got that sent out, and that is en route. And I forget what day it said it'd be there. Let me see if I can check the receipt real quick. Okay. Do. Do they tell me? I don't know. They don't tell me. Couple days. I don't know. I'll send you a tracking number. You can use that. Let's see. Lamer Linux, hello. Noah's videos. No, I did not see your message. I have been completely tied up. Like I said, Skype is what I use Skype for business. I don't mind an occasional whatever there if you have a specific question, but I do not use it as an extension of chat programs. That is not what it's there for. It is there to communicate with business clients, and I really don't like using it for anything beyond that. So, let's see. And I have been completely tied up all day so far. Hello, James Miller. Greetings. Pizza. Greetings. Everyone say pizza. Libre Secure, how's it going there? So yes, that's taken care of. Kyrie Holmes, how's it going there? Spider Eyes, how's it going? It'll arrive, I'm not worried. Yep, I'll get you the tracking number though. It's, I think I sent it UPS is what I ended up having to do with it. Okay, fix the issue on the website, my end. Now the domain is redirecting again. Cool, let me double check that on my end. Yeah, I thought it was something on your end at that point, that because the thing going there was still using my system, not yours. Let's see. It's not redirecting for me quite yet, but I don't know, that could be a caching issue. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Hopefully tomorrow I can look into it. If it's you say it's working though, maybe it's working now. So, all right. What's the fastest USB stick to use for my next Linux install? You don't necessarily need to focus on an individual stick, but you do want to make sure it is USB 3. Okay, so I'm using. Let's see what I got. I've used. This is a 128 gigabyte SanDisk. So that's a good one. I actually have a few of these. These are 32 gigabyte SanDisks. I generally use SanDisks. Make sure they're USB 3. Make sure you don't drop them on the floor because that one's so small I might lose it. This is either my favorite Debian build or my Linux Mint running Budgie. I don't know which. So just be aware of that. So, as long as it's USB 3, you're okay. I generally use the SanDisk ones. I don't get paid or anything of those for that, for SanDisk, but that's really what I have used with a lot of good success as well. Let's see. Just broke EOS, and now I'm fully on Arch. All right. Cool. Very cool. Very cool. Have Ubuntu on USB. Very cool. Frost Ranger the Frozen Realm. How's it going there? Pizza, pizza. It's pizza, pizza, pizza. Maybe he does say pizza, pizza, but it's definitely like pizza, pizza. I don't know. Tell me. What do you think? I gave you the link. All right. At least you can check audio on it. The internet. Let's see. At least you can check audio on it, like not like some others, not so common. Thank you for the super chats coming in. Hello all. How am I? And the kitty Gavin, £2 super chat. Thank you very much. We are doing well. The kitty's flea situation does not seem to have a whole lot of flea stuff going on them right now. What I've decided I'm doing, because I'm using the Advantage, which really works, even though I hate it and the cats hate it, but it seems to really work. Spray the cat down and literally the fleas just start falling off. So what I'm going to be doing now is staggering their treatments. So I'll get them like 2 or 3 days apart. That way there's always a cat in the house with the Advantage repellent. And I'm going to do that for about a month. And that should clear everything out. I've not seen really many fleas jumping around. I'm still seeing 1 or 2 on them, but not a ton. But I think the flea situation is finally under control. It was Advantage that ended up doing it. What's up, Mr. Frost? How's it going there? I assumed it's Mr. Frost. Mr. or Mrs. Frost. Frostbite. Jock Frost? I don't know. Tony Simmons, how's it going there? Greetings, present arms. Hello. And Analog, thank you also for the super chat. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I will be doing so. I am actually going to be... actually not as much for this channel, but I got a new camera that I'm going to be rolling out videos for the other channels slowly. I still need to get a mic attachment for it, because I did the latest Christian video was done with the new camera, so the picture quality is it doesn't jump around as much, which is the problem I have with the other phone. The audio's not quite as good because I don't have the good microphone setups yet. So I'm still experimenting with things like that, but hopefully we'll have a little bit better quality. And then if I do any more things that not like the computer, like, what do you guys think? I used to do, usually like a couple Wednesdays a month, I would do an earlier morning video just covering one news article. What do you guys think? Should I go back to doing those? Because I have a better camera setup now that I can do that a lot better than I used to. Let me know. I'll see if I can fit that in the schedule, which I should be able to. Let's see. Running Manjaro XFCE tonight. Very good, Yu-Gi-Oh! How's it going there? Don't forget to hit the like button. This will help support. Thanks, guys. Thank you very much. Mr. Jeffway. Hola, amigos. We are the 3 amigos. We are the 3 amigos. We are the 3 amigos. All right, I'm not going to do that any longer. That's just going to break windows all around the world, man. I'm going to be like horrible. But anyway, greetings. All right. Liked on entry. Very good. Don't destroy Budgie. I will try not to. I like Budgie. It's pretty cool. Still not using the DNS thing. Only pizzaloving.nerd.com redirects. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that. I'll see if I can find time to look into that tomorrow. Okay, Smooth Distro, never made a skillful Linux user. This is very true. Maybe I should put that into another objective on my list. I actually have a list here. That's a good one. All right. Greetings, Daniel. Long time no see, man. All right. Okay, looks good distro. The one that works with your hardware. There you go. Yep. Okay, it's pizza, but pizza sounds like pizza. That's right. Pulse probes earlier on a distro. Steve Paul's on Ubuntu. Greetings. Awesome. Very cool. Working on the video, literally 5 minutes of my cat being cute. Nice. It's going to get to the top of your video list. I know it. Okay. I have USB 3 64GB USB stick with a keyring for carry-on keychains. Very good. Frontline works. All right, a good Linux distro should be stable, easy to use, and very rarely have to use a CLI unless you like it. Also have drivers installed by default, codecs by default, Office by default. Okay, Ubuntu for the win. Makes the ISO larger, but not overly so. It's the best distro for gaming, in your opinion. I am not a gamer. I cannot give an opinion on that. If anybody else, though, is a gamer on Linux, you guys can certainly give us those opinions. All right. Listen on the road. Well, welcome, and please be careful on the road. I've watched too many of those worst drivers in 2018, worst drivers in 2017. I think the channel is called Idiots on Wheels. It's quite fun sometimes watching and go, oh, you guys are so stupid. Like, don't go speeding through a construction zone, you know? All right, ISOs have NVIDIA Office, codecs, DVD playback. Yes, it's still a thing. That's right, it is. It is. I can sing. Yes, I can, actually. Hey, switch to Linux. You know how to set up Hindi input on Linux? No. Never tried. Okay. Good distros provide free and non-free software, have good drivers, good graphic cards, and Broadcom wireless. Good community, are stable, have a big enough software repo. Very well summarized, Pizza. That's good stuff. Using Ubuntu 18.04.1. Very good. And using 1.1.1.1. Occasionally I do, but I had a few issues with it. Like, it was really good and really fast, really awesome when it first came out. But then when everyone was on it, it really wasn't any better than my own. And I actually had encountered a few websites where I was having problems with it. And so I'm not using it right now. I don't think I'm using it right now. I don't know. I have to log into my router to see if I'm actually using it right now. I'm just not completely certain. I know I have had a couple weird internet issues today, so I might look into what's going on inside the router, but I don't know. Let's say a video by Das Geek recently that talked about how good Mint is for gaming. I think he was getting better frame rates than with Fedora. Yeah, Fedora sucks. I'm running Fedora on my PC over here beside me. It is not going to last a week, people. I'm going to hopefully keep it around just long enough to do an official review after saying, yes, I have painfully stuck needles in my eyeballs playing with Fedora for a week just to show you how bad it is. And my apologies if you love Fedora. It ain't for me, and I have a lot of reasons why. Didn't get an area. Oh, didn't get a notification, I'm guessing. I had just put up the notification of this like only a half hour ago. So I was really tied up until the last minute, break-even point, 5:30. Was I going to do this topic or was I going to do tinfoil hat time? I felt I was not prepared enough to do tinfoil hat time. I'm going to try and do that Saturday around somewhere between 12 and 1. I'm going to do a tinfoil hat time on Saturday afternoon, Eastern times. Linux Mint works. Very good. A good Linux distro should have different input methods. There you go. Ubuntu Mate, best for distro for gaming. Arch and Solus are good. And PC Linux bin, replace my Solus driver with it. Using Ubuntu Studio or some other version of Ubuntu. There you go. Anna Rita, greetings. I was washing dishes and my wife turned on the media player and saw you were online. Heard you were singing and my wife said, someone record that because I'm going to make a CD. Oh boy. That's right. I'm going to be audio memed all over. Someone sample that, right? All right. Gaming on Linux is down to kernel drivers. Desktop for gaming. Toby, greetings, hello, Idiots on Wheels. Can you put that channel in chat? Let's see, do I have a window open? I'll think about it. All right, I'm gonna watch it after this stream. Yeah, just search Google for Idiots on Wheels. It's a big channel, they got a lot of followers. Tragedy produces a lot of views. I mean, come on. Makes me want to go get hit by a truck. And while I'm vlogging, get hit by a truck vlogging. A viral video. There you go. All right. Sport for years. All right. NSA backdoors. Slows it down. Also had internet issues. Are you using Comcast? Yes, I am using Comcast. And yes, maybe it's just issues with Comcast. Yay, everyone give a round of applause for Comcast, the monopoly we are all forced into and none of us like it. I really miss the consumerists with their Golden Poo Awards every year because Comcast would win it year after year. Is it a good idea to change the kernel in Linux Mint? I would only change the kernel in Linux Mint or any Linux distro that you have control over the kernel if there is a specific reason you're changing it. Once you get your system set up, changing the kernel could cause a whole host of hardware and other software configurations. Get a kernel that works, keep the security updates going, but you don't want to change the kernel itself. Unless you have to. Every time I play with Fedora install, I love it back on the day, but anymore it's just too painful to use. That's what I'm finding. I can't consistently watch videos. I think Firefox might be the most consistent, but I don't want to stay logged into YouTube on Firefox. I'd prefer to use Chromium, but it doesn't work at all. So I'm using GNOME Web, which works occasionally. You click on a window, it just takes forever to load the thing up. And the thing is so slow. It's not like, this computer is a quad-core computer. Okay, it's really not that slow of a computer. There's no reason the desktop moves as fast as molasses coming out of the bottle on January morning. Tried Fedora once, deleted it after 2 minutes. Personally, I think a good distro has a great wiki, easy to install software, and you can easily choose your DE or install others. Very good. Feels much more broken compared to Linux Mint. Okay, some people think that, yeah. Fix it with GitLab, takes a second or two for pages to update. Needs Snap and Flatpak too. I didn't even consider Snap or Flatpak. I have objections with the way Snap and Flatpak work. I think it starts to move Linux way too close to an App Store focused approach like Android and Apple, and we know how easy it is to push malware into those. And for the few people who have already tried, we've already seen demonstrated that Snap and Flatpak are both susceptible to malware. It's just too easy for somebody to pack a bunch of stuff into there and ship it out, and then we're not paying attention what the code is because it's easier. And then anytime something is easier, it brings us closer to the path of hell, or maybe more secular terms. It just brings us closer to indifference, closer to just not thinking. And that's the thing we want, is to be able to think. All right, we're going to go ahead and pause here, and I'm going to read through the rest of your things. Oh, yeah, YouTube is totally screwing with the chat code again. Oh, Lord, it's just getting worse. I'm going to go ahead and leave the comments there while we go back and discuss our overall topic. So let's talk about what makes a good Linux distribution. So first and foremost, there is no perfect Linux. I personally prefer Linux Mint Cinnamon. Some people personally hate it. Now, the people that go, it's insecure, that's just stupidity. All right. If you don't want to like Linux Mint, tell me why. I don't care. Doesn't matter. But so don't sit here and tell me about it's insecure. It's just as secure as anything else. All right. You cannot like the way it does things. You cannot like the way that it's a derivative of a derivative of a derivative. You cannot like the extra repos. You cannot like some of the approach they take in software, hardware, whatever. But there is no perfect Linux distro. Other people love Fedora. That makes me want to go, never mind. I'm not going to say what I was going to say because there's all that, demonetization material behind me. But anyway, Fedora for me is painful. It just seems slow and laggy and buggy and problematic. Arch is good for some people. Arch is bad for some people. So I came up with a list of ideas. So the first one is, what do you use Linux for? So the basis of this question is, you might just be using it for personal stuff, in which case you might be surfing the internet, you might be doing emails, you might be doing, Lord help us all, social media. You might just be watching videos, listening to music, maybe just some light things. Maybe you're organizing files, doing personal spreadsheets, things like that. Or you might be a business, in which case you need specific certain software. Hopefully you're in a business that you can use Linux. You're not tied into a proprietary Windows or Mac software. But if you do have the flexibility in your business to use Linux in your business, you might need to look for a distro that works with the components that you need to make your business run. All right, so basically, do you need basic web systems or do you need some advanced function? So if you're using some advanced function, you just need to poke around, prod around, see which ones will work for your setup, which ones will not work for your setup. The next question you want to ask, of course, stability. Do you need stability? This is a silly question. Like, who doesn't want an unstable system, you know? Well, it ties into something somebody left in the comments earlier that's good to bring in here. Do you want to use Linux to learn Linux? If you really want to learn the guts of Linux, boy, you need to be living on OpenSUSE. You need to be living on Arch. Maybe you need to be living on Fedora, because these are systems. OpenSUSE, I say, because while there's a lot of GUI things that work, the Yasta application gives you a good balance between command line type stuff versus GUI type stuff, so you can get a better understanding of what's doing what under the hood. Fedora, this is going to help you learn Linux because, man, to get the thing to work, I mean, there's still guides. What are the 27 things you need to do once you install Fedora? I'm not kidding. It exists. Look it up. It's insane. 22 things, 25 things, 27 things. Anything above 3 is too many things you need to do to get your distro off the ground. But if your objective is to learn Linux, install Fedora, walk through that step of several things, and then you'll either abandon the concept or go, wow, I really understand this now. That's great. Of course, Arch is rolling release, and so it's going to constantly update itself. And some things may break here and there. New packages will come out. You're going to need to learn a little bit more. You're probably going to live in the terminal a little bit more with those distributions than you would anything Ubuntu based, for sure, where they've done a great job of getting GUI interfaces. So it raises this question: do you need stability, or do you want something that rolls? And some people really need that rolling, especially if you're on the front end of app development, you're on the front end of programming, you're on the front end of computer technology. You would probably prefer something more like an Arch or a Manjaro or just Antergos, which are, you know, 2 distros based on Arch, because they roll. They're constantly updating. You always have the edge applications. You don't get the security updates for LibreOffice 4 for all eternity. You eventually go up to 6, and then you will now have the, I think, 6.06 is out now. I think I got an email from them that was released today. So you need this. If you're always on the edge, if you're always on that cutting edge of that, then you need to get out there and you need to look for a distro that has that, so you can make sure your programs are staying up to date, make sure things work with compatibility. Maybe you're in hardware development. You need to be using the latest rolling releases because you need to verify that things still work. Now, I'm in the world of production where I do graphics, I do websites, I do server technologies, a lot of other of your technical skills to help a more traditional business. So my typical client would be a small business person run by one person, maybe up to 5 or 10 people, is about generally the size businesses I do websites for. I need to know every single day when I push that on button on my computer that the computer is going to start up, it's going to do exactly what I want it to do, and it's going to have the exact same UI, because if some menu changes in LibreOffice, I don't want to have to hunt for it again. And actually, some of the menus did change in LibreOffice 6. As I write books for my publishing arm, as I write and edit and produce books, I found that there are some things that between LibreOffice 5 and LibreOffice 6 have completely changed where they are. Now, being as that LibreOffice 6 is out and I'm working on a course about how to publish books, or more or less how to produce books, not as much how to publish them. There's a difference between those two things. I wanted to make sure I did that with the latest available technology, so I upgraded all my systems that I do book editing to LibreOffice 6. And so now I have to relearn the GUI where certain things are and things like that, or just, you know, build toolbars, which is some of the things what I do. And so if you're in my type of world where you need stability, you need things to remain consistent because you don't have the time to stop. Like if my computers don't turn on and I got to take 1 hour or 2 hours or 3 hours to fix the system, I've lost a lot of work. And so you need to ask yourself that question. Do you need a rolling or do you need a stability? The answer to that question is going to help you determine what is a good Linux distribution for you. Okay. If you're in that cutting edge field, you don't want to be on Mint. You want something else, you know. Next option is, are you going to be a free software snob, or do you want a functional system? And those are not mutually exclusive, but they're not mutually inclusive either. All right. So a free software foundation snob is like, I don't want anything that's not non-free, which is okay. That's fine. Some people need that. Some people really want that. Some people really thrive on that, and that's awesome. But for me, if I have the choice to install a Broadcom software for my wireless adapter or not have a wireless connection on my computer, guess what? I'd like to install the Broadcom system. And if I have to do that on Fedora, Lord help us, I'm going to be there for a while to figure it all out. It might be easier by now. I don't know. But Linux Mint, I can click the button, click the thing that says drivers, enter my password, it scans the computer and says, oh, there's a thing here and there's a proprietary driver. Would you like to use no driver? Would you like to use the free driver? Or would you like to use the non-free proprietary driver? And you can let me take the pick. I'm okay with that. So some people want a system where they are absolutely committed to this free software foundation, this mode of only free software. And by free, we're meaning you have the ability to look at and to audit the code. Okay, that's kind of the direction. That's where Fedora kind of lives, because it's like actually gets hard to install things. They've made it easier. It's easier to install things like that, but it's still not by any means not nearly as easy as it is to click the install codecs packages on an Ubuntu system or install them during installation of the operating system itself. So some people need that. Do you need the non-free options? Do you want the non-free options? Or do you just want to say, I'm only going with free software? So only going with free software, that's going to limit you to certain distros. But to say, okay, free versus non-free, I'm going to go here. I think somebody made the point in the comment thread so far, saying, hey, a good system will ship with the easy ability to add the non-free systems. It gives you the option for the free versus non-free, but makes it easy to install them. That's one of the reasons I like Debian. It comes out of the box with only the free systems installed. It's just a couple lines of code and one terminal command to enable all of the non-free, and then enabling the non-free one time will take care of all of it. Fedora, Lord help us, you need to do it in a different custom whatever source for every single thing you need. Oh. And it's not that bad. There's like RP Fusion, I think, is what I put on there to really help with some of the stuff, but the thing still doesn't work right. I'll get into that when I start doing my horrible rant about Fedora in a couple days here. Maybe Sunday. Maybe we'll look for that on Sunday. And then by the time you see the video, Fedora will be a thing of the past on my system. Lord, I'd rather have elementary. Did I just say that out loud? All right. Now there's people who use them. There's some like for it. I don't know. I'm gonna get a lot of dislikes. I know it. I'm bashing all the good snobby distros. That's okay, because we need less snobs in Linux world. What are the specs of your computer? This is another thing. If you have an older computer, if you have a lower spec computer, something not quite as good, you don't want to be running GNOME. You don't want to be running Cinnamon. You don't want to be running Budgie, all GNOME derivatives. You want to run something that's super light, super easy, super fast, takes minimal memory. So figure out the specs of your computer. Now, I have the computer I'm running this thing on here. I'm attached on dual HD monitors. I'm streaming. I'm only using about 16% of the CPU. I think I have 32 gigs, or no, I have 16 gigs of DDR4 RAM in here. This computer is not slow by any stretch of any imagination, so it works very, very well. I can have a heavier system like Cinnamon on here without a problem. My little one of my laptops, which I use as a writing computer, which I can write books out, no problem whatsoever. Very well, very easy to work with. That's running Peppermint. It only has, I think it's only a single processor. It might be a dual core. It's just a little Intel It's not an Intel Atom, but it's like one step up from that. The lowest processors, that's not that. And then it has 2 gigs of soldered RAM, so I can't even upgrade the RAM in it. But with 2 gigs of RAM and a slow old processor, the thing zooms just as good as this computer running Peppermint. Because Peppermint is super lightweight. So that's not an old computer, but it is a low spec computer. So if you got a low spec computer, run something like Peppermint, run something like just anything running XFCE, like Linux Mint XFCE is a good choice. Linux Lite is awesome. MX Linux is awesome. All of those in the same camp, low spec, older system, those will work. Of course, if it's really old, you're going to need something with 32-bit support, most likely, if it's that old. So Peppermint still has 32-bit support. Linux Mint XFCE still has 32-bit support. Cinnamon has 32-bit support too, but I'm not sure. If you need to use a 32-bit, I don't think I'd try and use Cinnamon on that. Let's see, what other ones? I think Linux Lite still has 32-bit support, and I don't remember about MX Linux. There's probably some MX Linux guys in the comment thread. You can have a look at that. All right, the next question you want to ask yourself, what type of workflow do you have? I use the Cinnamon desktop because I found over the years that how a traditional Windows has been set up since 95 onward is so good for me. It's exactly what I need. And I have had the chance to experiment with a lot of other desktops. Like I said, I'm running, GNOME on Fedora right here. I think Budgie is really nice. I've used KDE. Just used a variety of different desktops. And what I have found is that I am absolutely the most productive on a system very much like Windows. So we have a panel at the bottom. We have a task, like a quick launch bar on one side. We have a task bar on the other side. We have a list of our applications. We have a menu down in the lower left. We have a show desktop to minimize all windows on the lower right. I am very fast in that system because of the workflow that I have. Now, some people might be more used to a Mac. You might be more keyboard focused. You might be more focused on something else. In which case, you might want to start thinking about looking at a GNOME or at one of the other desktops that can give you a feel that's more keyboard focused. Another good keyboard focused one, in addition to GNOME, is KDE, because KDE is so customizable. You can use a launcher instead of an application menu if you want to kind of get a simulation of that type of stuff. So do you like to use your mouse to point and click, or do you prefer to use keyboard to navigate around your computer? That can make the difference. Now, most Linux desktop environments have the ability to customize your short keys. The most customizable ones that I know of are KDE. Some of the most developed with the keyboard shortcuts is actually like GNOME, although several of them don't seem to make a lot of sense. The way they're built into the system. It'd be better if they were a little bit more intuitive, so you'd flow more easily between different systems. But if you are a keyboard-centric person, you want to navigate everything on a keyboard, you might really thrive in the GNOME environment. Which is funny because GNOME environment tends to mimic the Mac environment, and Mac is like horrible with its shortcut keys. But ask yourself that question. And of course, we've already touched on this, but let's mention it again. Do you want to use Linux to learn Linux, or do you want to use Linux? To just get your stuff done? And that makes a big difference, because if you want to use Linux to learn Linux, you want to find something that you're going to need to regularly fix. You're going to need something with more adjustments. You're going to need a lot of different distros that may not be quite as stable. I mean, I literally think a lot of people don't like Linux Mint because it's so stable. You don't got to get in there and fix stuff. So the end result of that is a distro like Linux Mint. You're not going to learn as much about how Linux works under the hood as you will using another distro. And frankly, people in the Linux community, particularly you old hat Linux community guys, listen to me carefully. Good. We do not all know how Windows works, and we don't all need to know how Windows works. We don't all know how Mac works, and we don't need to know how Mac works. We really don't. And I think that snobbishness is one of the things that has kept Linux from thriving as a desktop environment, or as an operating system. And yes, I will say GNU Linux, sure. Let me throw that in there at least once on this talk. I'm going to get 4 or 5 people commenting that anyway. Just go ahead. I will delete your comments. If you're arguing about GNU Linux versus Linux, yes, I know. I'm aware. I'm not ignorant in this. But the overall point is that some people do not need to know how the inner workings of a Linux computer work. And for those people, we have great distributions that you have a functional operating system. You can easily and securely install software without, adding the Ask toolbar on top of every installation. You have a lot of options for applications, a lot of options for functionality, and a lot of choices in how your system works without having to get into under the hood how it works. Now, for those that do want to get in and learn how it works, you want to learn about command lines, you want to learn about things like that, all Linux distros will give you the opportunity to pull up the command line and to do some things in the terminal. Except I could not find the terminal on Xtern OS, come to think of it. Yeah, oh well. But anyway, with that being said, it's important that we realize and recognize not everyone needs to be an expert of how Linux works under the hood. And the more distributions that we have that just work out of the box and don't break on updates and things like that, the more people will be more comfortable utilizing Linux, and that will only help the community out more in the long run. So let me know what you think of this in the comments down below. Also, before I jump back over to the chat for the end of this, you can help support the channel at switchedtolinux.com/support. I do have things like coffee cups and mouse pads, t-shirts, and other things at shop.switchedtolinux.com. And I am on Patreon, patreon.com/TomM. That's TOMM. So that's how you can help support the channel. So thanks for watching. All right, let's see. Back to the comments over here. At the moment, Manjaro KDE is working for me. Very good, very good, very good. If you had an issue at 3:02 your time, there was an issue with Comcast. PM or AM? PM, yes. PM, yes. Okay, this is why the kernel is tested for a couple weeks before it goes mainstream. We would like to hear your review on Fedora. I will do it, and I will probably do it soon because the desktop is making me want to throw the computer out the window, and I do not want to throw my computer out the window. I'd rather just wipe off the crappy operating system. Were you or are you in the military? No. I'm not a fan of the RPM package manager either. Fedora was my daily driver a long time ago. Now Mint is kicking Entergos out. Yep. Okay, Snap sucks. Flatpak's great. App image, great. Only Snaps have malware. Yeah, but they are all susceptible to it, I promise. I use apt for RPM and Synaptic, etc. 68 watching and 2 likes. Wow, you guys are stingy with your likes today. Bummer. That's all right. All right, that's why you don't install random software. Make sure you know where the program is you are installing. That is right. Okay, snaps. Anyone could upload. FlatHub. Only some FlatHub contributors can upload. Okay, well, that's better, I guess. I stand corrected. All right. Some input methods recommend you use a keyboard specialized for the input method. Yeah, you guys ever see it? Speaking of weird input methods, you guys ever see a 3D mouse? Lord, it's insanity. Some people left. I think they were new to the channel. Like 7 people dropped off. I think they're new to the channel. They thought that was the end of it. No, we'll go on for a while. I mean, I do have a live stream at 9 o'clock tonight. And for those following the Christian live stream channel, I was originally going to think about doing a introduction to the Testing and Temptations, is the book I'm pushing into reprint. I'm going to actually do that Sunday evening. I have an opening on my schedule. So Sunday night, we will have a special live stream on our Walk in Christ channel, where I will be reading some excerpts from the book. And I meant to submit that to the printer today. And I got back into the office much later than I had intended to. And then I've been tied up completely since then. So I won't get a chance to get to it yet, but we'll get there. All right, good creative Linux people make the good distros. Just came over from watching the live stream of Trump rally in Wilkes-Barre, PA. Oh, Lord. Good thing Wilkes-Barre is a couple hours from here. I don't like mint because I don't like Debian distros. I'm not a fan of cinnamon. All right, delete you. No, kidding. Not a fan of cinnamon. All right, man, that's cool. All right, we can still be friends, man. That's all good. All right, Linux Mint is fine. Is a fine if heavy distro, especially with cinnamon. Yep. Kind of wish Linux Mint had a minimal install. I could see that. Yeah, see that indeed. All right, that my wireless cards never work on it. Huh, that's interesting. I've never had any problems on wireless on that, except for Broadcom. Of course, you just need to go into the drivers and let it find the Broadcom driver and install it. Good distros when it works for you. Watching this on a dumpster diver ThinkPad T410 with MX Linux on it, and it works. Very good, very good, very good. I had a question about MX Linux earlier. I hope you answered it. We'll get to it eventually. I'm using Linux Mint Debian Edition 3. Very good, very cool. There is no perfect OS, period. What are you guys' thoughts on Apple $1 trillion worth? I think it's overvalued. And I hate Apple products. I have a Mac, I have an iPhone that doesn't work anymore, and I have a iPad. And Mac sucks. I should clarify that, rather than just saying Mac sucks. The UI in Mac is very clumsy, very sloppy, just how the interfacing and everything works. It's just too difficult to use as a speed or power user. Just too many screens in between. Same problems with Fedora. I can pull up on Linux Mint or anything else that's set up like this, which I can do with pretty much everything but everything but Fedora or everything but GNOME, except for a few other things. Pulling up tasks a whole lot easier if you have a list of them at the bottom of your screen, for crying out loud. You have that option in Fedora. It makes it available to do that. It's kind of a pain, though. I think I need to turn it back on, though. Give it a try. Albert Crow, did I get your email? I did, Albert, and a few different people sent me an email at the same time. I really did mean to email you back, and it's just I had zero time today. Somebody else, a bunch of people jumped on the computer all at once, and one person sent me payment a payment fee up front, and so I sent it to that person. So. Yes, my apologies. The computer is shipped out. But yes, I did get your email, and I did plan on emailing you back. I got in, and then Daniel got me all distracted, and then that came to the point I had to go to the farm and get back from the farm, and it was time to live stream. No, it was good chatting with Daniel for a while. All right, but yeah, I did not get a chance to respond to the email. I didn't want to respond to it until I knew for sure I got the other thing shipped out, and as soon as I got back to the office, I had a bunch of things waiting for me to do. So, all right. Let's see. I'm not the only one using a free laptop. Kernel 4.4 series just works on my hardware. No problems. Systemd removed all the 4.8 kernels in the kernel list. Very good. Gonna put Solus on the laptop. That is Linux Mint. Yeah, I think 2's the current one out. They might actually... Linux Mint team was working on the Linux Mint Debian Edition 3, and it must be out in beta, I'm guessing. I haven't seen a notice about it yet, and that's something I want to look at very soon. So, a free, as in free laptop, is better than a $5,000 Mac. Yes, it is. Systemd here, a parallel sysv int for fast booting, and then int scripts are seriously easy. I use Linux for a lot of things, one for business and others for personal and doing basic stuff a lot. Does Linux Mint Debian Edition 3 run in systemd? I don't know. My guess is it probably is because it's based on the latest Debian, and Linux Mint itself moved to systemd with I think 17. I think it was like 17.2 or 17.3. Linux Mint changed. I can't remember what they were using. They switched to systemd. My guess is that since Debian and Linux Mint are using it, that's my guess, but I haven't looked at it yet. For a while, I have some other that need my support too. All right, Antergos is awesome until it breaks. Okay, I didn't get that orc Fedora. I just installed RPM Fusion and did everything from the GNOME store, including NVIDIA drivers. Okay. Using Dev1, so I'm in the past. There we go. So there's a link for that. Let's verify that, and if I can get that cleaned up, I'll drop that in there. Yep, there's the link for beta. Thank you for that link to beta. Go ahead and drop that in the thing there now. All right, want LTS because I need stability, no developers, so you need no latest versions. Yep. Updated from Jesse and now have auto mounting finally. Woohoo, auto mounting. What apps do you use to make websites? He's Adam. I'm tempted to use GIMP to design my sites. Just wondering any other apps. Okay, the best, according to all of the testing, and I tested every one that I could find as far as HTML editors, Bluefish is by far the best that stands out the most. Most feature-rich for the way I build and design sites. So check out Bluefish editor, which should be in pretty much any repo. Yeah, GIMP's good, of course, for the design, for the image edits and things like that. Or if you're still doing, you used to mock up a website in Photoshop and then send it to the developer, and the developer would cut the bejeebers out of it into a website. I still see people saying, oh, here, I have designs built. Guys, just an FYI, in the web world, we haven't been doing that for almost a decade. Because we now would have to focus on this resolution, 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 and the one that we forgot about that's out the window. You just build a mobile from the ground up using a framework like Bootstrap, and then you put in the coloring schemes, the banner schemes, and the things that you want. Please, world, can we stop saying, I have my designs for my website mocked up, and expecting you to get a good website in 2018, because it will not be responsive, I promise you. You're going to send me one thing with a bar column like this, and it'll look perfect on the one resolution you have seen, and nobody else in the world will be able to look at the thing. Stop doing that, people. That's not how websites are made anymore. Get some general design ideas and design trends, but give your graphic designer or your website designer a little bit of freedom in how to do things. Trust me, they know all of what's in there more than you do. Game with AMD GPU and CPU, so I'm rolling distro with Manjaro KDE because newer kernel is better for the GPU. Also OBS open source games, better to update. Love compiling my kernels on Arch. I wish I had time to compile my kernels on Arch. I was writing a book using Google Slides. Nice. Laptop wants to be 100% free. I need to replace the Wi-Fi chip. Yep. Intel works with free software. Like to keep one Linux machine to use that's nice and stable, and then a second boots several others to play with. That way, if something borks, it's not the main rig. Yep, and that's exactly what I do with the media PC that's just out of frame. That's currently running Fedora. Just a variety of different distros. It's all good. if all the people used open source, donated to the devs, open source project would be much more advanced. I agree. I think that's a good statement. Just have the best drivers installed by default. You can always uninstall it. The reason is, though, Present Arm is because some people do not want anything that's not free and open source attached to the computer at all, which is why even the ones like Debian that make it easy to install them later, they make it so by default you get the free and open source stuff, but you can easily install the non-free stuff later. And Ubuntu took it a step further with a driver manager that can do all that kind of stuff in the GUI without going into the terminals and files. Use Solus for stability and latest release. Needed both since I program, but I have vanilla custom built computer, vanilla custom built computer, so I haven't had any hardware issues. Yes, that's good. Free software is hard if you don't have the hardware to match. Pick the driver that's not a scam and the one that works. Yeah, it's still downloading drivers for Windows machines. Oh, Lord. Fedora asks if you want to install them now in the GNOME store. I saw that. I enabled that, and I still was not able to access anything. So I went ahead and did it all old school, and it seemed to get what I needed. It's just still not very good. It was good until Cinnamon UI is kind of full of dependencies. I agree the Cinnamon UI has been getting a little bit worse. I think the peak of Cinnamon UI was like maybe 17.3. I think was the peak. After that, you know, once they added the ability to auto-arrange desktop icons and things, it added something into the code which rendered some instability to the desktop on Cinnamon, which is kind of unfortunate, but speed multitasking main workhorse is Peppermint 9. Yep. It's just something used to. There is an element of that is true. However, I'm not actually new to GNOME. I use GNOME at least 2 or 3 times a week on other distributions. So no, I'm actually not new to GNOME at all. It just sucks. Okay. Yeah, I know where the shortcuts are. I know how to navigate it. I know how all the systems and functions work on it. It's encumbering is the problem. Uh-oh. Yep. I'm yawning. You're going to talk about yawning, so I'm going to do it again and drink more coffee. It's been focused on user-friendly meeting. The layout of the system is familiar, making it easy to use and to understand. Admit running on a Core 2 Dual to recover memory from Vista machine. There you go. If you want Windows 10 in gaming, you should look up DXVX on Linux and move on Linux. I'm playing games to support D311 games. I'm gonna write that down. You know, there's one issue when in the latest Warcraft 3 patch. That's about how new I play video games. I cannot seem to get the latest one installed on Linux. I'll have to look into that though, see if that works better. Okay. All right. Hello from Debian stable with XFCE, Windows 10 theme, just to not gain attention. There you go. Yeah. Run my ISO on 128 megabyte core. Very good. Very nice. Mint team listen to their users as so they don't want in their distribution. Yep, they do. Peppermint works great on dual core CPUs. Yep. MX Linux has 32-bit. Thank you very much. I wasn't sure about that. Going to target. Just don't hit the target, man. Very responsive. Sounds like Trinity. Yeah. Linux Mint team decided to make their distribution to work out of the box, means it's easier to find drivers for your devices and codecs to play in your multimedia such as audio and video. Love Mint. Software is a tiny bit out of date for my needs. And you know the thing that is, though, is that even if the software is a little out of date, you can install the repos to get more up-to-date software. So if I actually go into my software sources, one of the things I want to make sure I always have is the latest Kdenlive. And so despite they say, oh, use the app image, I will not use those unless I have to. So if you add the Kdenlive stable patch in, you can get the latest Kdenlive in your system. I also have the OBS Studio in there. You can add one for LibreOffice. You can add one for GIMP. So if you need the latest software in any particular type of software, you can install it without a problem. Actually, if you check out my Linux Mint Debian Edition video I did just a few weeks ago, I actually talk about how to do that kind of stuff, how to add new software. And that's that'll work on any Debian-based system. So that's something to look at. I fired up Firefox. Thing is, it was Linux. If you don't like the way your DE looks, change it. Unless you have GNOME. Eventually, I'll stop picking on GNOME. I'll stop picking on it again when I'm done with Fedora over here. Starting to take a liking to OpenBox. Very cool. Very cool. All right. All the programs on KDE start with K, like Quickie Mart. That's right. It's off-putting for me. Well, I mean, yeah, okay, never mind. I was going to say GNOME does the same thing, but they really don't, do they? Yeah, it can be annoying, but, at least you can identify what works with the system. GNOME is best served in the garden. If you encrypt it or refract to ISO, also will have the same backup praise for the ISO. Very good. Time shift for backups. Whoa. My comment thread vanished for a little bit there. Not much tweak anymore with GNU Linux. Use Linux Mint because I've had enough stability problems with a Windows 7 laptop and I don't want to deal with it in Linux. Yep. Is Trinity not Plasma in a while, to be honest? I've heard about the bug where it's now fixed. Which bug? Hello, Francisco. How are you? Laura, I need mouse as I hate keyboard shortcuts. I have short memory and I hate touchpad on laptops, so give me a precious mouse. Yep. Probably just switch TTY on extern. No, it's crazy. It might be better by now. I'm not sure. Switching to Linux Mint Cinnamon on both my systems now. Very good. Mint is stable enough that I can tinker with it and not worry about it breaking. Yep. Radeon RX 570 4GB card. Just need the CPU now. That's pretty close to what I have. I think I have a Radeon. I know mine's Radeon 4GB. I forget what my numbers are, though. I don't know. Oh, yeah, I could give Fedora the old sudo rm rf. Yep, that would be fun. Brian, nice to see ya. Linux Mint Cinnamon is great to use as an everyday distro and learn how Linux works. Since terminal and runs bash, advanced students may want another distro. Mint is a great start. Yep. And USB rubber ducks. I like full control over my OS, so root is enabled and never use the same password for root as you do user. That's just stupid on every level. Got it right, Mac sucks. Left Mac for Linux 2004 before it was the latest fad and started making garbage products. Use root, not sure if you need a sudo. Well, I don't use root specifically on my systems. I prefer having my user group in the sudo account in the sudo group is what I do. Crapple Mac OS is a Linux derivative with a proprietary shell that Crapple totally screwed up and put a lousy UI on junk hardware. Moving systemd, also removing pulse. Don't know. Change systemd halfway through Jesse. Unix is the precursor that Linux is based on, is also used in the 80s. First distro was Raspberry and Jesse, which did used to use system sysv. Yeah, I think that's on sysd now, isn't it? Great things about, I'm guessing, Linux or Linus is you can use cinnamon. Great thing about Linus is he likes cinnamon on his toast. Great thing about Linux is that you can use XFCE, cinnamon, or whatever you like. Yep. Best distro needs to be compiled from scratch. Gen 2. There you go. Greetings, I guess, as Mark. And OS, Mac OS is actually BSD. The best distro? You mean other than Arch? That's right. And hello, DistroTube. How are you? Yes, the best distro other than Arch. Yeah. Arch is definitely the best, you know. It's compiling from source. I'd rather have a root canal. Yeah. I don't mind the root canals I've had, you know. But in Arch, the only compiling to do is in the Arch user repository. Dr. Rob, been a while. How's it going there, Dr. Rob? Let's see, compiling from source is the fun part. Gen 2 master race, that's right. Great thing about Debian Ubuntu-based systems is the massive software repos and the PPAs that can become native. Yes, GNOME is so ugly. I wish they'd make that top bar useful or allow me to get rid of it. Yeah, it's not very useful, is it? Do is .deb. It's nice. So nice running Mint now. I haven't got Signal app installed. Yep. Got Manjaro installed with 4.17 kernel. Seems very stable. No problem so far. Most things anyway. Let's see. What new distros are you planning to try? I don't know. What should I run when I'm done with Fedora in a couple of days? Out-of-date software. There are programming languages and getting up-to-date versions. Use Krita app image because the version of the repo is too buggy. PPA doesn't support Xenial systems and the Flatpak crashes, but the app image is rock solid. Very good. You couldn't use Linux Mint. Which distro would I use? I have a lot of good luck with Peppermint, so I might do Peppermint. Yeah, I mean, of all the distros, you know what? Manjaro. I'd probably do Manjaro. The time I had Manjaro running on my system, that was a very solid distro. Liked it, ran it a month, no problems at all. So Manjaro was good. I might do that. Mark Yates, greetings. Too much going on. My head is spinning. Minimalism and Mint for me. Genuinely very happy. Yep. That's the thing, you know, just cut your life back. That's actually why I'm actually, hey, are we ready for demonetization? I'm actually reloading a bunch of ammunition to get rid of stockpiles of reloading supplies. So I've been in ammo making mode lately. Hello, everyone. Hi, Anarita. Find me my digital girl. All right. But yeah, I'm just trying to cut some stuff back and get rid of some things and making the decision. Should I keep an ammo press or around or get rid of it? I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on it. In fact, I get permission denied error when trying to run PIA and Mint is fine by me because it just means they care about security. Yep. Reality, the opt directory should be protected. MX Linux gives you all the stability of Debian, but with the backports and testing repos, you can get up-to-date software. Has tons of tools, making Debian easier. Trail for minimalism all day long. Very cool, very cool. I should do more minimalism videos. Okay. WinMint is officially my favorite distro again. Been around the block with distros, yep. Fuzzy snake. Fuzzy snake. Time shift saved you big time recently. Save it from reinstall. Works great. Very cool. Very good. Can't say enough positive about 19. Very good. Wife just told me she loves you more since she now switched to cinnamon, which makes me so jealous I might switch so she'll love me more. There you go. See, there it is. There it is. Try Redox OS. You know what? I was a chemist, so Redox for me, that kind of jives. It is not on my list. Redox OS. I will add it to have a gander when I can. All right. Arch has good community support. Black Arch looks like a newer version of Kali. All right. Manjaro Budgie. Yes, I actually, the Manjaro I ran was Manjaro Budgie. Absolutely loved it. Rebecca Black OS. That sounds suspiciously like Hannah Montana OS. Do I want to know? Who is Rebecca Black? All right. Very stable, and I agree. Fair warning, it's not Linux. Uh-oh. Oh, Redox. Is that FreeBSD? I don't know. Okay. Been using a lot of Arco lately on my hopping system. Like it after fighting with an hour of the NVIDIA drivers. Very good. Digital first, then physical. Yeah, digital. I'm actually still going through digital minimalism. I'm actually kind of hybrid. Like one of the things I'm doing right now is going through more old files. I found another box, another 100-pound box of old files. Like, all right, what needs to be kept? What needs to go away? Are your cats part of the Infinite Cat Project? I've never heard of the Infinite Cat Project. Let's look up the Infinite Cat Project. That sounds like a fun thing to do with some time. I don't know. I'll have to look into this. Whoa. That's a squid cat. Looks like a blog for cats, I guess. I don't know. James says keep the Emma press. All right. Keep the press. They make great walnut crackers too. CJ, your girl is like your sister, shy and odd. You be smooth with her. You ever use Vivaldi? I don't know why, I just like it. Not a lot. Maybe I should try that over here. Is that available over here on Fedora? It might work. I've heard bugs on NVIDIA drivers for certain things felt more vulnerable, although maybe better performance. OpenGL worked fine for most games, just didn't like how NVIDIA wasn't working with FireJail. Welcome back, Noah. Rebecca Black is a girl who made that Awful Friday song. Oh, God. I'm not sure what Awful Friday song you're talking about, but oh, God. You want minimal, do crunk bong. Sounds like something a hippie would use. Redux Unix. I like it more than BSD, but Solaris is my go-to Unix-like systems. In oxidation redux, who's oxidized and who's reduced? That's right. Chemistry question. That's right. Who's oxidized and who's reduced? Actually, back in my geocaching days, I put up a geocache out west somewhere where you had to solve a redox equation to get the coordinates for where the thing is. So evil. That was actually not my hardest geocache to find, though. I did one that was like a 5-5, I think. It was you had to reverse translate a protein. I gave you a DNA sequence. You had to run it through a protein generator, and the single letter protein amino acids would spell out the coordinates, which was on the cliff on the top of a mountain. So I was mean as a geocacher. Maybe that's why I don't geocache anymore. I managed to be like the top, I think it was on the top number 5 in my state, I think, at the time. That was kind of before geocaching became super mainstreamed. Everyone was doing it. And before there was a geocache every 500 feet on every lamppost downtown. That's when I stopped. It's like, this is just ridiculous. Used to be fun, but not much anymore. Blog for cats. I guess CJ and his virtual girl must join. That's right. It'd be digital pen pals, right? You want a digital pen pal up north? Yeah? Yeah, what do you think, huh? All right, let's see. Trailer Park cheeseburgers. Baldi's really nice. Takes some real getting used to, but one of my favorite browsers, maybe my favorite. All right, it's Friday. Tomorrow's Friday. I'm pretty sure tomorrow's Friday. Yeah, tomorrow's Friday, unless my calendar's wrong. On Taurus Luma router. Thoughts on Taurus on the router as fully open source software, hardware. I do not know anything about that router. I'm using pfSense. I have a custom router based on pfSense. That's what I'm using. Try run2. Hydro. We should make a Richard Stallman Linux and package it with only proprietary software and repos. Anyone do Linux from scratch? All right. Well, we've get to the bottom of the comments. So, and I have another stream coming up in just under 2 hours on my Our Walk in Christ channel. So I'll give you guys a link for that. If you guys want to join me over there, that'll be 9 o'clock Eastern. And if you came on late, we were thinking about doing information on my... we were thinking about doing information on the new book, but or the re-release of the book, but I decided to put that off until Sunday. So we're going to do a special live stream on the Christian channel on Sunday. So there's the link to that channel if you want to join me over there, 9 o'clock Eastern time. Really? I'm the channel owner. I better be able to post a link. All right. Been Friday for 2 hours already. Yeah. If you're on the other end of the world, it's Friday. But Noah's Videos is not on the other end of the world. It's not Friday for you yet. Wasn't using Linux Mint, I'd be using Manjaro XFCE. What time Sunday? It will be sometime after 6. I'm thinking maybe 8 o'clock, maybe 7, maybe 8 Eastern time, 7 or 8 Eastern Sunday is what I'm looking at. I'm going to be tied up until at least 6, and I'll want about an hour to prep. All right, well, I have a kitty sitting right here, so let's go ahead and feed this beast. Whoa, and then what we're going to do is we will do a final call for comments, and then we'll wrap this guy up. All right, buddy. Really? It's doing away with my links. It's not allowing me to post a link to YouTube. Link, please. There. You can copy and paste that. Really? Okay, I think it went. I think that one went. I was trying not to use a shortcode, but oh boy, kitty. Oh boy, kitty. Oh yeah. All right, if you can grab one more out of there with your paw, you can have one more. Go for it. Everyone likes the paw. Everyone likes the paw. Come on. Come on. There you go. Right there. Right there. Get it. Right there. You see it? It's right there, buddy. Get your paw in there. Right there. It's here. This cat, by the way, is not the most brilliant cat in the world. All right, fine. I'll give it to you. Here you go. Yeah. You're a good kitty, huh? Are they finger licking good? Come here. Oh, come here. There you go, bud. Are they finger licking good? Of course they're finger licking good. Yes, they are. We are actually running low in kitty treats. It's tragedy. I might actually have to go buy more kitty treats. I should call one of these companies and ask them if they want to sponsor the video. All right. All right. Okay. Hey, Kitty, no typing on the keyboard. All right, Kitty wanted to send that message to you. That was all the Kitty. He typed it. You guys can rewind the video. You can see him typing that message. Because our Walk and Cry says 6 p.m. Okay, so it says 6 p.m., but I have no idea why YouTube does that. It doesn't pull the correct time from your time zone. So if you actually were to go to the channel itself on the actual video, you'll see it says 9 p.m. here, live in 102 minutes. So I don't know why that says 6 p.m. I don't think it's my channel settings. I don't know, but I don't know. So it doesn't seem to be doing. It's, yeah, I guess it is 6 p.m. Pacific. I'll see if there's a way I can adjust that on the channel. CJ's trying to type to his virtual girl, but she's under the bed, dude. I know. All right. We're going to go ahead and I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. And join me over there if you want to chat on further over there. Click it. It will correct it. Click what? And it'll correct it. Yeah, I think maybe like my one is I'm not logged in over here, so I don't know. But anyway, we will catch you guys later. I'm going to go out and make something to eat and be back here in time for that. So recant alerts have shown correct local time. Alerts are correct local time. All right. YouTube uses UTC 0. All right. All right, guys. We will catch you later. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. Once again, don't forget to check out the various links in the description down below. Have yourselves a good afternoon, and we will see you tomorrow for the news at 9 o'clock Eastern Time on Friday.